So I will give myself a little introduction, and then we have a couple of our mentors here who may or may not be able to use their microphones right now, but I see they've already introduced themselves in the chat, but I'll ask them to say a little hi as well if they'd like to. So I'll start. My name is Chelsea. You may have seen me kind of popping around. I founded Focal Point. It started really just as the 52 Weeks project back in like 2019 and kind of grew and grew and grew. A few years ago, the Photoclass, the Reddit Photoclass, the person that had been running it for about 10 years and did a really great job with it, decided he didn't really have the bandwidth to do it anymore. So I suggested and requested if I could take it over. And when I took it over, we brought it here into Focal Point as part of this community. The course is completely rewritten, completely redesigned. If you had seen the Reddit photo class before, this is unrecognizable from that. But the spirit of it still exists. It's still completely free. It's still just a great way for you to start learning. Maybe even you already have started learning and just to kind of hone some skills, and then also meet fellow photographers and have a nice community. And that's really the big thing that we really try to champion here specifically, is just a really welcoming and positive community, very supportive, none of the gatekeeping that you'll see in maybe some other online spaces. We're really kind of anti that. And so we hope that you feel comfortable to share your work and share your images with each other and with us, so that we can all help each other to get better. That's why we're here. That's my spiel. So any of my mentors, Andrew or Alex, anyone want to go ahead and give a little introduction? Oops.
And I enjoy giving feedback and teaching. I used to be a teacher in a previous life, but still enjoy teaching different things, and have been doing photography kind of seriously for about 15 years now. Had a couple of shows in California, and just trying to expand what I do in live photography, so still trying to be creative.
I'm Alex.
Sorry, also in a couple, one more thing, just in a couple of weeks, one of the sessions I give is how to plan a photo shoot using different online tools to help you plan and make sure that you have a fairly good chance of getting the pictures that you want to get, looking at sunlight, weather, and a number of factors in planning that. So look forward to an announcement on that in the next couple of weeks.
And I'll just say, the last time Andrew did that webinar, it was incredibly successful. People really loved it. So I would highly recommend checking it out when it does happen. Okay, anyone else want to hop in and say hello?
Hello, everyone. I'm Alex. I'm helping with being a mentor since recently, though. But I did this photo class, and I want to tell you all that it's amazing. I see it's always progressing, and this year I saw we had new material and a better website, and Chelsea is doing an amazing work. It's very structured, and I think you can learn a lot and really fast. And I'll provide feedback as much as I can. As I said in the text in the chat, I'm doing events and very interested in portraiture and everything lighting. I'm passionate. I'm following a lot of gaffers on YouTube, so I know a lot of weird shit you will never use, but it's always good to know. And that's it. Thank you.
Any others want to say hello?
I'll go next.
Thanks, Vincent.
Hey, everyone. So, my name is Vincent, based out of the San Francisco Bay Area in California. doing any webinars for me, but anyone that's in the SF Bay Area, I do photo walks with the community here and also some people in San Francisco. And that's been happening about every 4 to 6 weeks. I think we had like 4 or 5 this year. So if you're interested, reach out if you're in the area. Most of my work's in street, so I like walking around the different cities, different neighborhoods, just watching people, the motions of everyday life. And my photos are street-based, but not so much with a human element as the main subject. So instead of like composing larger scenes, we can say, with a human element in it, but it also includes light, shadows, colors, layers, or moments that just happen once or difficult to replicate in everyday life. Been around here for, I think, almost 4 years now, to this point, just helping out in the server. So if anyone's got any like technical questions, most of my stuff is in Fujifilm. Very familiar with that, but also have the chance to shoot the other systems. What do you got? Not so much Nikon, but we got Canon, Leica, Hasselblad, and I don't know, so on and so forth. But yeah, that's it for me.
That leaves me. I'm Simon. I'm Akenem on Discord. I think I'm the newest here, so I don't know what I can say amongst all those things. I've just done the course. I really enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it, even though I've been sort of doing some sort of photography for a very long time. In fact, I found an very old roll of negatives the other day. I think it's 1980, which has not been very well stored, but it did scan. What else can I tell you about me? Yeah, I mean, I'm learning like you, so I mean, it's and having a lot of fun finding out about these things. I think I've got a long way into film recently, but other than that, I shoot Sony APS-C. So I don't know what style I shoot. Like goodness knows. Whenever I find a hand, I don't do much portrait. I'd love to, but I don't have that many victims.
All right, so thank you guys. That is a small portion of our mentor team. We have people basically everywhere, every time zone or most time zones, and people from different backgrounds. We have portrait photographers, we have street photographers, we have everything photographers, we have nature, birding, like everything. We try to really cover our bases with the mentor team. So you heard a little bit about us. I would love if you guys could pop maybe in the chat, just something about yourself, maybe where you are, what you're interested in photography, what you're hoping to learn. By knowing that actually really helps us as well, because we can kind of see if there's any common themes going through. And while the course is written, it is consistently in evolution. I am editing the course probably more than I should, and going through and making updates constantly. So knowing what you guys are interested in actually does help direct how the course works. So I'm seeing already some UK, Philly, and so on. So that's great. Everyone just keep them coming. And now what I would like to do is I just want to kind of run through what you can expect in the course. Again, any questions, pop them right in the chat. I am looking at it actively, and I believe my mentors are checking it as well, and we can answer those as we go. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen and show you the website. I imagine most of you have already been there, but I want to kind of look at it together so we can see where you're going. And Andrew, I'm getting a little bit of like feedback on your end. It's like echoing. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so this is the main site here, and if you haven't been here already, I'm just going to kind of show you where you can find the class. There is also the 52 weeks, and I'll talk about that because I think people do get confused between the two, which is fair. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm still streaming. Okay. So if you go into the Photoclass right now, you are going to see that the whole thing is currently live. Please, you are not doing yourselves any favors jumping in and picking up right now, because this is going away in 3 days and it is going to lock back up back to the beginning. So basically the way the course is structured is we have 10 units. There's also a getting started unit, which is going to be bundled with unit 1. And then there is a final project, and I'll talk about what that looks like. as well. So when you start on the first, you're going to see this getting started and unit 1. And basically what you can do is you're just going to click on it. It will open up the course. Again, this is going through some updates right now, so please don't start right now because these links are not updated. They're not going to go where you want them to go, and it's not going to help you out at all. But essentially the course works like this. You can click through it. You can also see all the lessons in each unit right here and jump around. I'm just going to introduce you to the teachers because aside from me, they're not here right now. So there's me. Again, I'm Chelsea. I'm originally from New York, but I live in the Netherlands now. I've been in Europe for over 10 years in different countries and different cities. I'm in the Netherlands right now. Then we have Sean. Sean was there from the beginning when we decided to take over the Photoclass, and he helped me write the first the first rewrite of it, excuse me. He is in Perth. Very busy man, buying houses, getting married, getting his PhD. So you'll see him pop in and out as he goes. And then we have David. David is based in Kentucky. He does both portraiture and horse photography. I know there's a better way to say that, and that's why I kind of slowed down because I couldn't think of it in that moment. But he's a wealth of knowledge on lighting and portraiture, studio portraiture. He is also an audiophile and does some amazing audio work. Both he has a very nice speaking voice, and he does like book readings. Wow, words are gone. It's been 40 degrees here. You're gonna have to bear with me. But he's a very talented person to talk to about portraits. He knows his stuff. He knows the techie stuff. And Sean, just to speak to the techie stuff, Sean has his PhD in lasers. So he really knows the tech stuff when it comes to sensors, when it comes to ISO. He's the man for that. So if you have a question, you can ping them specific to that. And these are their Discord names. I'm always see London. I know it says Clundon. You can call me that. It's fine. Sean is Macon Bacon because his last name is Macon. And David is Johannes Vern. But you can ping them anytime if you have specific questions about that. So I just wanted to show you that. And then our mentors you will see around more frequently than you'll see like Sean, for example. Then in each unit, you're going to get an assignment. The getting started assignment is really just introducing yourself and telling us, sharing with us a photo that you are proud of. So we're going to have you, give us a little intro, who you are, what your interests are, what you hope to learn, which you're already doing right now, which is amazing. And then sharing a picture that you've taken in the past that you're actually proud of. It doesn't have to be like a serious photo. It could be like a quick snapshot of friends or family that you just really like how it came out. And just kind of reflect on that. Like, what do you like about it? The more you reflect on the choices that you make, the quicker and better you're going to progress in your photography. Now, when you've finished a unit, you see there's no next button or anything like that. You can come up and go to the next unit up here if it's already open. So on the first, you'll be able to do this between the getting started and unit 1. I'm not going to go through this right now because spoilers, and also it needs updating. But as you can see, these are the things that we'll talk about in the first unit. We're going to talk about some basic stuff. But again, if you already have a baseline of photography, still go through it. Either to validate yourself, like, yeah, no, I know my stuff, and pat yourself on the back. Or maybe there's like a little tidbit in there that maybe you hadn't heard before or weren't sure on. So this is a pretty beefy unit. The first one, don't take that as don't get intimidated by it. Take it slowly. There's 2 weeks between each unit. So you don't have to go through it all in one sitting. You don't have to speed run it. Take your time, read it slowly, understand it. And then there will be like a little knowledge check on some of them, which is like a mini quiz. Again, this is just for yourself. No one's keeping score. And then you will have your first assignment. The thing to remember about the assignments, aside from the getting started, is that you are always going to be making new images. The real point here is to get you out making images consistently. So You might have a picture that fits from before you started the course. Do yourself a favor. Don't use that. Make a new image with the assignment in mind. That really is going to help you out. Do I have any questions? I'm seeing a lot of introductions still, which is amazing. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Okay. All right. If you have them, pop them in. So where do you go after you've done an assignment? Where do you share that? You're going to be sharing that right here in Discord. So I'll see if I can, I'm just going to unshare my screen for a moment and see if I can be super meta and just stream my actual Discord. Let's see. So this will be fun. Like, yeah, I thought that's what that would look like. Okay, so when you are ready to share your work, I'm just going to collapse some things that might be a little distracting. You can come in here to your Photoclass category, and you can just go right into class assignments. When you're in class assignments, one thing that we do ask you to do is to kind of label it with what unit it is. You will be required to choose one of the tags, unit 0, unit 1, and so on. Each cohort has kind of found their own way of labeling their assignments, which has been fun to watch. Like the first cohort used it was like hieroglyphics to me, but they all understood it. It was like U1, O2, A5, and yeah. So the most recent cohort has been doing unit 10, 2026, some of them not. So that's fine. Just do whatever, makes it clear to us that this is your Unit 8 assignment, for example. And I'm just going to open a random one, not to put anyone on the spot. But essentially, when you upload your photo, usually the assignment will ask you to answer some questions. We're not asking you to answer those questions specifically necessarily, but they're more reflection questions so that you have something to go off of when you're requesting feedback and for the mentors to go off of. This helps them as well. The more information you give, the better the feedback you're going to get. Just like anything else, it's what you put into it is what you're going to get back. So for instance, Matt here, answered the questions in the reflection, shared his photos for this assignment, and then Alex, whom you just met, gave his feedback in there. Don't feel like just because you're not a mentor, you can't comment on each other's. You'll see here, Lisa left her photo and her conversation about Unit 9, and we've got a nice conversation going. Getting to know your peers and your cohort is just going to make it even better. You're going to learn more. You're going to have a community. You're going to have people to kind of bounce back with. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to show you some of the other channels. This is where you go when you're ready to submit a photo for the class assignment. But if you just want to talk about the class, we have the Photoclass Lounge here, still in the Photoclass section. Any announcements, like when the new unit is live, I pop in here. I think I'm the only one that ever comments in here and writes in here, so that doesn't get very messy. If you see a thing there, it's probably from me and maybe very relevant to you. Then we have Ask Mentors. This is a really great place to go when you have a specific question and you want it in the eyes of all the mentors. That said, if you read a question here that you know the answer to and you are not a mentor, please answer away. There's no you have to be a mentor to answer questions. There's none of that. We're not big on the hierarchy, except for that I'm the queen. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we're not big on the hierarchy here. It's really, we're all here to learn from each other. So if you ever see something that you know the answer to, go ahead and hop in. Like, for example, this person asked about camera apps for the Pixel, and I have no idea. So I said I've only heard of this one. Maybe somebody else can jump in. If you know a good app for the Pixel phone, please go into Ask Mentors and help them out. Give them some personal experiences, because I don't have any. Then, just so you can see some other places here, under Photography General, you can just talk about anything in these. If you found an article that you thought was really interesting, pop it in inspiration for everyone. If you have a question about post-production editing, pop it in here. If you have a question about what gear to buy, these guys would love to talk to you about it. You'll never see me in here, but these guys are always in here answering questions about gear. So hop in there. Edit My Raw is fun when it happens. Basically here, what you can do is you can post a raw photo. So like in this case, the most recent one was just a JPEG, but it works better if you have a raw photo. If you don't know what that means yet, you're going to learn really soon, so don't worry. But you're going to post a photo of yours in there and open it up to the crowd to edit and do their own take on it. And that's a fun way to kind of reset your own eye and see what other people do with your photos. And then these are all just different genres. So if you're interested in black and white photography, you can talk about it, share photos here. If you like film, analog photography, which you can tell I do, this is the place to go. Don't get confused by the server name. That's a YouTuber that we all like, so that kind of happened. If you like food photography, and so on. Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory, but I like to be super clear because I know Discord is not the easiest to get around if you're not used to it. And then up here, I just want to shout out the community tab, the community category. Lounge, talk about whatever you want in here. Did you see it's a new TV show you want to talk about? Please go for it. This is really just an open forum and open space to have any conversation. The Venga bus. I don't know why I named it that, honestly. Like I'll tell you the idea behind it, and then you can try to figure out if you see my train of thought or not. But the idea with this channel is really fun. It's a constantly moving channel because what you're doing is you're posting a photo that coincides in some way to the photo before it. So there's something linking this photo to this photo, and so on. This one to this one, this one to this one. So when you come in here, you look at the most recent photo, and in this case, it's the train. Maybe you have a nice leading lines photo that converges on a single point perspective like this. Maybe you have a photo of a train. Maybe you have a low light photo. Something connects that photo, your photo to that photo. You pop it in here and keep the Venga bus moving. If you don't know what Venga bus is, it's because I'm 1,000 years old and it's a song from the 90s. So there we are. Introductions, I'm sure you have all come in here already. I try to say hello to everyone. Social media links, you want to share your Instagram, your Blue Sky, your TikTok, whatever it is you have, you want to share it so you can communicate with people outside the Discord or share photos. This is the place to pop that. And then meetups, I'm going to try to find a better way to do this because it gets quite hard to follow. And but essentially this has, I think, Vincent mentioned that they had a lot of meetups. I think they kind of like pulled people from in here. But you could say like, oh, I'm in Indiana. Anyone in Indiana want to go for a photo walk or something? And you can organize that with people from here. Oof. All right. Again, it's 1,000 degrees. Yeah, Venga bus is coming. Okay, I know it's a European bus. It is a European bus. It's correct. Any questions about what I just went through? Wow, there's 78 of you here. That's wild. I'm going to screenshot that and put it on my LinkedIn. Look at me. Any questions? Yeah, okay, I'm going to bring someone up on stage. Great. Love that. Maybe. Did you get my invite? If not, can you raise your hand again? Or, anyway, okay, here we go. Did you get it that time? Let me try it again, April, one more time. Okay, I'm going to try again. I'm not sure why it's not working. You should be able to come up now. Okay. Oh, you shared a question, April. I'll try to get you up in a second. I want to answer this question here. You shared a link to a print book and a PDF earlier in the week. Is that the same course assignments on the website? Thank you for reminding me. I wanted to show you this. And April, I'm going to keep trying to get you up here. This is the physical learning journal. It is not just assignments. It does have a place for the assignments in it, but I'll show you kind of what it looks like. So essentially it has all the different units. These are the same units. It has a place for you to pop your photo. You can just like tape it in, you know, go to Walgreens or whatever, print it out, snap it on there, write some notes about it. You can also take this out with you and just take notes while you're working on assignments. And then it does have reflection questions in here. So it gives you something to kind of write, think about and write and just kind of put your own thoughts down. And you'll see it is organized by unit. Somebody mentioned that this is the physical one. There, if you don't want to buy it, it's up on Lulu at the lowest price they'll allow me to put it up at. But if you don't want to buy something, get it. Totally understood. It's a free class. You could download the PDF and just have that on your computer or print it out. If you have an older copy, are they the same? This one is updated from the older one. The older one will work fine. This one's just a little bit more accurate to the cohort that will start in July. I had to make some updates because we did change some units last cohort. But it will serve you just fine for the same purpose. Maybe you want to etch out some like assignments and write in what the actual one is. But it's really just for you. You know, it's one of those like rip up this journal kind of things. So it should serve you fine. Okay, so somebody asked in past cohorts how many people started out and how many finished. That's a great question. It's really hard to actually say for sure. It's definitely a fragment of what starts. I think we had one of these kickoff calls with like 80 people, 90 people on it. And if you go into course assignments, you'll see, I don't know, how many would you guys say, depending on the unit? It also happens where people get a little bit behind. Yeah. What do you think, Simon?
I think it was. I think it definitely tailed down as we went along, but also people were very spread across the units. So actually, there were lots of people kind of like at various points falling behind and catching up. So I feel like a lot of people made it towards the end. I think I think it's. But it's been pretty lively most of the way through the 6 months I was involved with.
Yeah, I think this last cohort was the most lively. I do attribute that a little bit to the updates in the course, which is really just a pat on my own back because I want that to be true. But yeah, I think this past cohort, we've seen a better percentage of people getting to the end. So hopefully maybe this cohort will outdo you guys. And then we'll have some more new mentors at the end of it. Okay, let's see. I think there's some other questions. When we upload our assignment photos, are you expecting them to be edited or unedited? Great question. If edited, can you recommend a free raw photo? Yes, and no, yes, and yes. There are certain assignments where you're asked not to edit, and that's just because we're in the beginning. We're not expecting anyone to know how to edit. We're not expecting anyone to know how to do some post-processing. We have a unit on post-processing. That said, if you know how to edit and you can edit, go for it. Do it. You know, there's no rules about that. This is all for your own progression. There is, like I said, one unit specifically where we ask you not to, and there's a good reason for that, which you'll see when you're in there. As far as free ones, raw therapy is free. If you have a Mac, you know, photos is actually way more involved than people think it is. I have a little video showing some of that off. There are a lot, and we do have a list early on in the course. Most camera brands will have their own as well that comes with your camera. It used to be that if you had a Fuji or a Sony, you got Capture One for free, but not anymore. But there are different options. Affinity is free now, or very inexpensive. It's always been very inexpensive. I think Apple bought them and changed how that works, but there are a lot of options and there is a full list. Lightroom Mobile on your phone is free. If you want to try out Lightroom but you don't want to pay the subscription, Lightroom Mobile is free, and very good. Works well on like an iPad, more so maybe than a phone. Darktable is another one that's good. So yeah, there's a bunch popping around, and you'll see a big list. And I'm sure other people have said ones that I didn't think of. Okay, let's see. Just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. I think Lucian's next. Do you both find assignments in class assignments and post homework there also? The class assignments are going to just be written in the class, in the actual lessons on the website. The class assignments on Discord is where you post them. There's a couple reasons for that. One, updates happen and they happen on the website, so it's keeping it fresh and good. And also on Discord, we have that channel set up to be like a portfolio, so you can just see the pictures nice and big, which doesn't really lend itself well to like, here's an assignment, read it. And we want to make sure people are reading the lesson before they get to the assignment. So assignments written in the course, post your homework assignment on the Discord. Are there calls/seminars like this around each module? That's a great question, Dan. Who would like to answer Dan's question? Simon's on it.
I don't know. We were talking about it, weren't we? We probably should. It's probably the short answer between us.
Yeah. So, the short version of that is there should be. The longer version of that is that we have these feedback sessions, and we were very good at doing them regularly in the beginning of last cohort. But we are a small team, and it was hard for us to all organize it, but we are really actively trying to make a schedule amongst ourselves that will make it so they're more consistent. We want to have these often. We find them to be valuable, and I think everyone else finds them to be valuable. The other thing I'll say to that is if you want to just chat with people, like at any point in time, there is an open forum channel that you can hop into. You can pop in like the lounge and say, hey, I'm going to be editing some photos. Anyone want to just hop on a call and, talk it out with me? And hopefully other people would say, yeah, let's do it. But we will have scheduled, organized calls as well. Yeah, Andy, you are going to finish this time. I believe in you. I say with like the worst vocal fry. Again, sorry. I'm just really tired and hot. Is it rude for me to submit assignments late? No, we don't take that personally at all. People have lives and stuff and get behind. If you go into the channel right now, the like assignments channel, you're gonna see like unit 6, unit 5, I will say that the mentors do go through and try to get feedback in order, and it's easy for them if everybody's kind of on the same unit because they're in the right frame of mind, but don't feel bad if you're late submitting an assignment.
But will there be working groups as one that's currently floating in front?
Yeah, so we had something called peer groups the last couple cohorts, and I'm a big proponent of them. I think they're really great, but they also require a lot of intrinsic motivation from the people within the peer groups. So I'm currently trying to solve for the fact that we had about 15 peer groups, all with 50, 70, 80 plus people in them that had no conversations happening in them. So I'm trying to fix that and figure out the best way to go about that. But when those function well, that is a great place to have these conversations. You have your own private text section and your own private call section that you can just talk to just your peers, and the mentors, we stay out of it unless you want us there, and you can ping us, but otherwise it's like a safe space for you guys to just talk out everything that's happening. in the course. So I would encourage you, I'm going to try to solve for this before July 1st and try to get these set up right away. And I would encourage you to join a peer group and have regular conversations with your peers. All right. Will there be where? Yeah. That was Salel's question. Great. Oh yeah, Photomator and Pixelmator too. That's some more editing software that work well. Okay, where do you buy the journal? There's a link. I'll pop the link in, but if you go into class assignments and scroll up a little bit, I'll just copy this whole comment and pop it in here as well. But you can buy it there. It's direct just from the publisher. It's just a print on demand service that I use because they tend to keep the prices nice and low for everybody. So that's where it is. Okay. I'm just making sure there aren't any other questions here. Will there be a recording of this somewhere? Yeah, I am recording it. Hopefully it's working well enough, and I will put it up on the YouTube just so we can have a place for it to be rewatchable. Yeah, okay, so Stephen, that is one of the solves that I was thinking about. I was thinking about like electing a peer group captain or captains that kind of volunteer to help organize the group and keep them active. There does seem to be like one peer group that is relatively successful currently, and they seem to have that. They seem to have one person. Peer groups are by time zone. Yeah, they are. So that was, I thought I was so smart. But that was the intention there. So they do go by time zone because obvious reasons. So, but I think having a like a captain, a king, a queen of the peer group might be the way to go. Somebody who can just keep everyone in line. The YouTube isn't really anything, Lucian. It's just where I host the videos. So you're not really missing anything if you're not like subscribed to it or anything. It's just there are a few videos in the course and they're just hosted on the Focal Point YouTube, which I think is actually just, I don't even know. That's how much I pay attention to it. But I think it's just like at C London. Yeah, here, this is the YouTube. Like I said, you can subscribe to it. It doesn't make much of a difference because any course, any video that you need to see will be in the class. Amazing. Oh, you found this through AI search. That's interesting. I've been working on my AIO, so that's interesting to hear that that's how you found it. So thank you for sharing that. And why am I offering it for free? Somebody always asks that. I love that question. Why are we offering this for free? A few reasons. One, the Reddit Photoclass has always been free. And, when I took it over, I promised that would be the case. Always. Obviously, the course expanded quite a bit. And there's a lot more resources that go into creating the current version of the course. But I believe in free education. I'm an instructional designer as well as a photographer, so that means I get paid to make courses, and usually they're really boring. Usually they're compliance. They're the things that you click through at work that you hate. I'm sorry. I try to make them fun. But doing this is actually a nice way for me to practice my work in a way that's more fun and interesting for me. And in a previous life, I was also a photography teacher and mentor. I've done classes. I've done like workshops for Apple in London and New York. I've taught private students, and I loved working with private students, but there's something about like hitting, these large groups of people that is really rewarding. I don't want to speak for the mentors, but I think they also have they feel like they're giving back to the community. And we do, like I said, try to keep the community really positive. And that's reflected in the fact that this course is for free, I think. Well, I am grateful for all of you. Yes, art education. Thank you for calling that out. I agree. Yes. Thank you guys. We really appreciate it. Is there anything I missed? Any mentors think of anything I didn't touch on that we should talk about? Animal photography experience. Yes, there are some wildlife photographers. There are, oh, 52 weeks. Thank you for reminding me. I'll answer that in a second. But yeah, we do have animal photographers. We have, like I said, David does horses. But then we have wildlife photographers. We have birders. Yeah, so definitely. 52 weeks. Let me tell you about 52 weeks briefly. Because it's actually something that you could do alongside the photo class. It's the lowest pressure imaginable. But basically, I'll give you some idea of why it happened and where it's come. So 52 weeks started, it was 2019. I was really demotivated. I was pregnant and bored and not working, and I was like, I'm not going out and taking photos. I was a working photographer at the time before I was unable to do it. And I was just kind of like bored and unmotivated, like I said, and uninspired. So what I started doing was just posting every day. I posted a prompt of something to inspire me, and I was tagging it on Instagram. And as I was doing that, I found that my followers were doing it along with me, which was incredible. Yes, it is being recorded. I'll get back to the second part of that question in a second. You can tell I have ADHD. I'm sorry, because I was reading that and answering. Anyway, so I started posting them on Instagram with just a hashtag and the prompts, and I found a small group, like about, 50 people were doing it along with me, even though it wasn't like organized at all. And that was really cool. So then I was like, okay, well, next year I'm going to organize this a little bit better. And I started posting them more regularly. I had a schedule. It was a specific hashtag. And then that kept kind of going and going. And somebody said, hey, why don't you make a Discord for this? And that was in like 2020. And I think we were all looking for a community in 2020. So I started the Discord, and then it kind of blew up from there, and now it's become this. So let me show you. So the way 52 weeks works now, and I found that this is the best way to keep people engaged with it, because it was one prompt a week, but people were like, oh, they missed a week, and they would be like discouraged and stuff. So what I ended up doing now is it's 4 prompts a month, with now with a bonus artist spotlight. But basically what you do is you read the prompts, and then you go out and you take photos with those prompts in mind. And you can, because they're all posted on the first of the month, which means that you have the ability to decide when you do each one. Maybe you do all 4 the same time you go out. Maybe you know that you're going to be somewhere really ugly beautiful in like 3 weeks time, and you're going to save that one for then. And you just use these as kind of motivation. And then you post them, share them with everybody. And it's really just a way to get you out and shooting. It does really work well with the class, because sometimes you could have a class assignment and be like, I'm not really sure where to go with this. And maybe you come over here and you say, you know what, actually, that gives me an idea. And then you go back and you can do them concurrently. A lot of people, when they finish the class, they'll continue doing 52 weeks. Some people have only ever done 52 weeks, but it's a lot of fun. It's my passion project, so I speak very highly of it, but I think it's really fun place to do that. And again, you can see the prompts right on the website. There's also a 52 weeks section that you all should be able to see in the Discord. I think that answered that question. Okay, let me unshare my screen, and there were some other questions in here that I wanted to touch on. Yeah, so the recording, this is going to be recorded. The feedback sessions and those, we don't like to record them, only because we want people to feel comfortable to share. We want people to not be concerned that if they share a photo that they're not proud of, that it's going to end up all over the internet. So we try to keep that safe space by not recording things like that, like the smaller meetings. If a mentor or somebody else decides that they want to do like an AMA or a workshop or something like that, it's up to them whether we record it or not. So maybe they are happy with it being recorded and shared. Maybe they would prefer not to because they're going to do it again or something like that. So in general, if it's something where people are sharing, participants are sharing, we're not going to be recording it, and that's for your own sake, really. Yay, I love a new mom. Hello, new mom, congratulations. Mine turned 6 like last week, so it's crazy. Anyway, yeah, great. This is a good question about a teenage daughter taking interest in photography. We restrict her social media. Great. Can't join on here. That's fine. Yeah, you can upload pictures for her. That's totally fine. And she'll still get feedback. Yeah, that's great. If you want to mention that it's hers, cool. If you don't, also fine. That's completely up to you. Yep, curious about 52. It's not a course. I just want to make sure that that was clear. It's not a course. It's really just a motivating factor, something to keep you going, and something that you could do after graduation, or you could do during. Okay, great. Oh, thank you for partaking in 52. I love that. Is 52 week thing rolling? You can jump in whenever. Good question. Yes. There's no 52 weeks is so like laid back that there's going to be like any question you ask, it's going to be like, yeah, go for it. You could even go back and do January prompts if you want. Like if you see one from January you like and you want to do it, go for it. There's really no rules. This is completely self self-motivating. So aside from technical development, I'd like to develop my confidence as a photographer. Lots of photographers seem quite outgoing and will approach directions. That seems insane. Yeah, no, that's true. Our goal is really to make you comfortable and confident in your own work and make you proud of your own work. The thing that I take a lot of pride in with the course is that it isn't strictly technical. I really don't care about the technical stuff, so I kind of outsource that to the mentors when it comes to writing those units. But I take a lot of pride in the artistic units because I think an art history education and an art education is really going to help you in your photography, even if you're not like an arty photographer, even if you want to just do like, I don't know, like headshots, which aren't necessarily going to always be arty. But I think having that knowledge is going to help you to feel more comfortable in what you do. So I think, Dan, you're coming in with a good mindset for that. Being open to progressing in that way is huge. Are there going to be competitions? So that's a good question, Stan. The short answer is no, and I'll tell you why. We don't want to have any kind of necessarily competitive mindset, only because some people don't vibe with that, right? Some people are going to be like, well, I'm not going to submit unit 3 because mine's terrible. Like, if your photo is terrible for your assignment, that's okay. And we don't want anyone to feel otherwise. This is all about learning. I've shared photos that I hate. Even in the course, you're going to see photos of mine that I never wanted to see the light of day again, but it's important to share them for whatever the course is about. So by adding any kind of competitive nature, I think it kind of takes away from that, and only because some people, would have a hard time with that. So let's see. I'm just reading. I'm sorry. Very good. Any other? Let's see. There's several people typing, so I'm going to take a little break and let those come in. One thing, Stan, I'll say about the end, you mentioned the competitions, but one thing I will say is that the end is all about creating kind of a personal project for yourself. And I'll just say that it isn't expected that you'll have it done at the end of the course. But if you kind of think of it as like a personal challenge, a personal competition with yourself, like I've set this goal for me, I want to get there. That's the closest we get to competition here. But that is kind of the culmination. Oh, Phoebe, that is my favorite question. What is your favorite unit? I absolutely have a favorite unit. My favorite unit, I actually have like 2. The first one is the art of photography, for reasons I've already mentioned. My whole thing is color theory and compositional guidelines. There's a couple blog posts already on the website. Oh, is the sound being a problem? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll do my best. But the art of photography is a lot of fun for me. And then the decision process, which is unit 5, I believe, is my other favorite one. That is a lot about visual narrative, learning to see like a photographer. I've done that workshop. That's one of the workshops that I did for Apple. It's a lot of fun. And you're going to learn about some other photographers, like photography history, which is fun. I love both of those units. Those are my 2 favorites. Oh, thank you, Alex, for sharing that. I'm just going to let these comments come in, and then we'll just make sure we got all those answers. Do the different fields of photography have a lot in common? If not, do you recommend focusing on one while learning? I recommend not focusing on one while you're learning. And the reason is because different genres have different skills that might be required of them. And they also might spark something interesting for you that you wouldn't have been engaged with otherwise. For instance, like there's certain things that all genres have in common. Light is crucial, composition huge, but then when you start getting into like the nuances of it, birders have to use these like huge lenses, ridiculously large lenses, because they can't get close to birds. And then a lot of separation of subject and background and things like that. Street photography tends to be more close up, like in people's faces. We'll talk about that another time. I'm a street photographer. I'm allowed to say these things. But yeah, so I would suggest not focusing too much on one just for now, just during the learning process. And then you're going to see where you're more aligned, and then you can kind of focus in if you want to. But it's not a requirement to ever. Okay. Will there be a sort of online exhibition toward the end? In theory, yes, absolutely. I would love to do that. I want to do that for the most previous cohort. I was actually thinking about setting it up for next month. But again, the project, we don't expect you to be done with the project at the end of the course, but this would be a great way for you to share your favorite photos you've made during the course, maybe how far along you are in the project, if you've started your project. And a lot of us are introverts. I think a lot of photographers are introverts. It's a very solitary practice. I'm an introvert, believe it or not. So I think we all get that, and you can take solace in knowing that everybody is in the same boat there. Do units have passing criteria? No, they don't, but you will get feedback from the mentors. So they might say something like, hey, you did this really well. Maybe you want to try a little bit, like, to focus in on this. We are big on giving constructive, actionable feedback here. And that's where the passing, it's not a pass fail, it's not a grade, but you are going to get some feedback that's going to make you reflect on what you did and maybe adjust and maybe even try again if you want to. What will feedback sessions look like? When we have like the active ones, they will be similar to this, but not in this stage situation. I think that takes away from the conversation. But basically, the group comes together, you share a photo, everybody talks about the photo, they tell you what they're thinking, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and then you kind of parse out. You're going to learn how to take feedback and how to move forward with feedback. Because sometimes it will be relevant, sometimes it won't, and that kind of thing. So the feedback sessions are just a nice, safe space to get feedback and ask questions about your specific work. What if we ask nicely? Like, one thing I would like to get out of this is real critique. You get real critique, 100%. Like, if you say in your post, go hard, that sounds great, but they will give you real constructive feedback. If you ask for a grade, I mean, sure, like, why not? If you say, give me an actual grade, I'm sure the mentors will be happy to do that for you. But they will definitely give you feedback, real feedback. Okay. Will there be recommendation relative to specific guidelines to connect to further growth training? Yes. Yep. You actually see that in really early on. You're going to see some further growth, and throughout the course. The course exists to give you kind of an overview, holistic view of a lot of stuff. So within the course, there's going to be like, hey, you want to learn more about that? Go here. You want to learn more about that? Go here. And so on. About the feedback sessions, when will they generally be? That we're still working that out right now. Historically, they've been on like Sundays. And then some of them, I used to try to do them on Thursdays because of my schedule, but we're currently working that out, so I don't have an answer for you. What day and time do new modules release? They release every other week on, I want to say it's going to be, for this cohort, it will be on Wednesdays, and they will release at midnight Central European time. So if you're in the Americas, if you're in the UK, you'll get it a little bit earlier on Tuesdays. Yeah, so Lauren says she's, been nervous about giving feedback. Yeah, we're very early on in the course. There's a whole unit about how to give feedback as well as get it. The thing I'll give you right now, the little nugget I'll give you, is that always think in action. Think in like, okay, if I were to take this photo, maybe I would have stepped one step to the left. Maybe I would have lowered my camera. Maybe I would have chosen a different aperture. So things that are actionable are the way to go. You're going to read a lot about that. It actually comes up 2 times, how to give feedback and how to receive feedback. Is there an emphasis on the business side? Right now, no, but I am actually currently developing a course on running your own photography business. The course itself doesn't have anything in it, but there are working photographers in the Discord server. So if you have questions, we'll answer them anywhere in the server, in the lounge, whatever, ask mentors, whatever. And I am currently working on developing a course for that, but it won't be there until maybe the autumn it will go live. Oh, that's a great question, Kiru. Do any of the other mentors, teachers have any projects that you could share that you've been working on?
Why do I feel like this is... Oh, I didn't even realize I was off of mute. Hello.
Hello.
I was just like, I feel like Chelsea's be waiting for me to jump in here.
Yeah, why aren't you saying anything? No, go ahead.
As for projects, so I don't even remember what year I did the course. I think it was 2024 now.
Yeah, I think so.
I want to say 24.
Yeah.
The project that I had done for that was something that I called Proof of Mom, which is a thing that I had seen on Reddit, which was encouraging mothers to get the picture with their kids, even if they didn't look their best or whatever. And I just sort of ran with that in terms of doing like trying to do self-portrait with my kids. I don't post a lot of it because some of it has the kid's face on it, but there are a few on the Discord, I think. I have to go and search and find. Yeah. So I can find that later. I'm on mobile right now, so I don't want to search Discord on mobile.
Yeah, fair.
It's a pain.
Absolutely.
I can find it later and I can link that.
Yeah. Thank you. Your project's really cool too. From what I've seen, I know that a lot of it is kept offline because of the children, but from what I've seen, it's a really cool project. Any others? I have this book. I published that book last year. That was cool. That was a little side project.
Am I still muted? Can you guys hear me?
Nope, we can hear you now. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so my personal project has kind of changed into a fine arts thing, mainly because I'm going to be in a couple of galleries at the end of the summer, so
Nice.
yay. It's going to be like architecture and like some gardens around Portland, so
That's super cool. Congratulations.
yeah.
Which book? This is my book. This one is still in plastic, but that is my book. I actually could open it. I have a few that I haven't opened, but this was a fun project because I was, I'll give you the rundown of this. I was living nomadically for about 10 years, just traveling around Europe first with just my husband, then with my husband and my young son. And this is kind of, we settled last year here in the Netherlands after many years of running around. So this was kind of a culmination project of that. Yeah, the sandwich method works, Lauren, absolutely. We talk about that a little bit in there for feedback. This is my book. I haven't. There. This is my book here. This is all, it's street photography, essentially. This is my second book. My first book was called Selfies Across Europe. That was published back in 2016, I think. And there's some of those pictures in there. But that was, I was taking photos of people taking photos for like 3 years. The course starts on July 1st. That's when the units will open. Yeah, of course. Happy to. All right. Let's get any final questions in. And then I think us Europeans... Oh, did you lose me? Can you hear me?
You might have done.
Okay. Can you hear me now, though?
And now we can.
Okay. I was just going to say, let's get some last questions in. I think I can only speak for myself, but it's still 1,000 degrees. So I'd like to find some reprieve. Cool. And if you guys have any other questions after tonight, please use the Discord. Have the conversations not just with us, but with each other. You know, you can ping us directly if you use like the @mentors. All the mentors will see it. You can ping me directly. You can ping @teachers, and we will magically appear. Or you can just talk to your peers as well. And I'm really excited for all of you to start. It's always fun to have a new cohort in. Really looking forward to seeing your work and seeing you progress and reach your goals and set some goals and all of that. And question, what is the deal with I'm not answering the question about the bird photography, Alex. We're doing well today. Everyone's getting along right now. So we'll leave that one for another time. It's actually just @mentor, I think, not @classmentor. Oh, yeah, when you write it, you have to write @mentor, I think, and it works. Anyway. So thank you guys. Really looking forward to meeting all of you and seeing your work. And those of you who are back for a second go, you can do it. I believe in you this time. We all are here for your help. So thank you, everybody.